Earlier in today's program, we completed a general assessment of the windows on a 20-year-old home. We noticed the exterior finish was cracking, the caulking was starting to fall off, and some of the seals had failed, leaving moisture between the double-pane glass. With new windows in need, we reviewed the window selection process with our contractor, Andy Lindus, and we're now ready to install what our homeowners selected. Perfect timing, Andy. They pulled out a couple of the first floor windows. But before you get to this stage, obviously you had to order the new windows. And in order to do that, you need to measure. So what's involved in the measuring? Whose responsibility is it?
You know, we have a couple of our guys, our head installers, that go out ahead of time, meet with the homeowner, and measure the windows orders. When you're talking about custom windows, and each window is custom made to fit this exact opening, you have to be precise. So they're going to come out and get 3 measurements. You got your width, your height, and jam depth, and then they double check all the options with the homeowner to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay, and of course by jam depth you're talking about the thickness of the wall itself, which bodes well in this case for energy efficiency because it is 2x6 construction.
Yeah, you know, it is 2x6 construction. You're going to have a lot more insulation on the wall than some of the older construction, and between the actual frame and the window they did use at least a little bit of insulation.
Yeah, but like I always say, this just cleans the air if it's not, you know, it really is just a filter. And so, as I understand your process, you're actually going to foam behind there, and you're going to create an air seal so there won't be any infiltration.
Yeah, actually, once we have the window set into place, we'll actually do a spray foam that's going to act as an air and water barrier for the home.
Well, you know, as they were pulling out the old windows, I noticed a lot of mold down low where we talked about the condensation and one of the reasons they're replacing the windows. I'm surprised there isn't any rot in these jams.
No, it actually is all in pretty good shape. We're not actually have to replace any of the interior frame here at all. You know, you and I have been on projects before. You can take out the old window and you can actually stick your hand right through there. And the trick is with contractors, remain flexible and be able to change what you're doing. You never want to put a brand new window in a bad opening. So you want to make sure everything that it's getting sent into is perfect to make sure that operation of the window is good for the lifetime of the house.
Okay, so when we talk about professional installation, how about taking us through the process?
After we get done inspecting the opening, we're going to start to prep it here. And you can see Jake's already got this one done. There's actually a house wrap that goes underneath the flex tape. Flex tape goes over the bottom sill here. And this is just like a checks and balance, a what if, a worst case scenario, water did somehow get to the frame of the window. When it gets down here, how is it going to get out? It's going to hit this flex tape, which is always going to remain 100% waterproof. It's going to be able to work its way out, and you see it goes over the top of the siding, so it gets back to the outside of the house, not down to the bare sheathing of the house.
And again, I can hear you stressing it, in the unlikely event that water gets behind there, it's just another insurance package. And a professional company, this is the way it should be done.
It's all about checks and balances. You have to factor in every possibility. Houses tweak, move, and stuff like that. Should something happen, you want to make sure it's not going to lead to any long-term damage.
Okay, well, let's take a step back, let these guys get a little further along in the process, and we'll pick it up at that point.
All right.
Oh, Andy, Nate, and Jake sure made short work of this window. But that's the mark of true professionals. They have the right knowledge, the right tools, and they make it look easy, but you and I both know it's not always that easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps that go into the process, but they make it look easy because it's all they do is install windows. You know, you saw before any of the window actually went in the opening, we actually ran a bead of silicone around the edges and the top of the window, not the bottom, because remember the bottom is your drainage plane. Should anything get inside the window, you want to get to the bottom, the drainage plane, it's going to come out to the outside of the siding and then get away from the house. Make sure there's no long-term damage on the actual house.
But when you talk about all the sealing, it's not just for moisture. That also must have a great impact on infiltration as well.
Well, everybody's sitting next to their old windows, and you saw how these were installed. It's just the flange over there, wide open. I mean, you know, and you got the air filter that comes through. You sit next to that window, you feel the air and stuff coming through there, and that's what led to them calling us. We make sure when these people walk into this room, these windows are going to feel warm, just like the exterior wall does.
And again, as we keep stressing on today's show, the advantage of a full frame replacement is you get to tackle that aspect during this installation.
Exactly. You want to get down to the bare wood. I always use the analogy. You won't want to paint a rusty car. Let's get down to the bare wood and build out from there.
Okay, so what does it take from the inside then? This is the outside aspects of it. What's going on the inside?
Well, before we actually put on the tape or anything like that, we measured the window and squared it up to make sure it was square, shimmed it properly so it's always going to be level and you're not going to have to worry about seal failure. And then we actually take a 1-to-1 expansion foam, and that's very important. A lot of times people put in too much foam that has too much expansion, and that's going to take away from the operation of the window. 1-to-1 expansion foam all the way around, again, the sides and the top of the frame to make sure, again, no water and air can ever infiltrate this house.
Boy, the homeowners are bound to be elated, not to mention they're going to be saving a lot of money with the higher energy efficiency and the proper installation. Really appreciate you coming on today's show and walking us through the professional window replacement process.
It's my pleasure, Stu.
Now here are some key points to help summarize today's show. If you think your windows are ready for replacement, start the process by walking through your home and checking your windows for visual and functional damage. If you have any questions about repairs or the cause of a moisture problem, contact a window professional for an assessment. Next, learn about the construction of the window you're selecting. Be sure to have your window professional explain the virtues of the framing, functional hardware, and glass pack. Check the U values for energy efficiency, and ask about the warranty that comes with each window. And finally, know the contractor who is installing your windows. How long have they been in business? Are they experienced with the window they're installing? And of course, always check their references. Well, we're all out of time for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time on today's Home Remodeler.